Hello. I have in my hands here a copy of a magazine called Sky at Night. It's a BBC astronomy magazine. As you can see at the top there, there's BBC. It's the UK's biggest selling astronomy magazine, and it's what the science community might call legit, a legit magazine. Yes, and it's got a big title there, or a heading, or whatever you want to call it: Gravity, Why It Doesn't Exist, and 11 other things you never knew about nature's most enigmatic phenomenon. And oh yeah, and at the bottom here we have our good friend Neil deGrasse Tyson, who apparently has a new book, and he reads a chapter from it. And in the corner there we have NASA scientist Jane Rigby, who is talking about the Webb telescope's view of the early universe. So it's what you might call a legitimate magazine. And the story I'm interested more, as you might have guessed already, is this one in yellow printing: Gravity, Why It Doesn't Exist. So the story is on page 38. So let's go to page 38. There we are, and there is Marcus there. You can see there about the author, or about the writer. Marcus Shawn is an award-winning writer and broadcaster. His latest book is The Ascent of Gravity. So let's start reading. We'll read together. Let's adjust the camera. There we are. And so, gravity, the mysterious force. It's a force we feel the effects of every day, but it's also the most enigmatic. Marcus Shawn takes a wry look at the contradictory nature of gravity. And here we have the article starts with: Gravity is the weakest force in the everyday world, yet it is the strongest force in the universe. It was the first force to be recognized and described, yet it is the least understood. It is a force that keeps your feet on the ground, yet no such force actually exists. Gravity, to borrow the words of Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister back in the days, is a riddle wrapped in mystery inside an enigma. Any way you look at it, gravity seems bonkers. Are these its oddest quirks? So there you are, folks. And gravity is such a mystery force, and it's very contradictory. Now, gravity was allegedly proven fact by Isaac Newton. That's what science says. And we have this Marcus Shawn here telling us it's contradictory and it doesn't exist. And before I proceed, I did a quick search of Marcus Shawn's credentials and things like that. Just bear with me for a minute. Marcus Shawn, Wikipedia. Yes, and this is what I found on Marcus Shawn. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just going to read it out to you. You can do your own search later. He was born in 1959. He's a science writer, journalist, and broadcaster. Currently, cosmology consultant for the New Scientist magazine. He graduated from the Queen Mary University of London in 1980 with a Bachelor of Science in Physics, first class. In 1982, he graduated from the California Institute of Technology with a Master of Science in Astrophysics. Chown studied under Richard Feynman at the California Institute of Technology. His books on astronomy and physics are aimed primarily at the popular market, including Quantum Theory Cannot Hurt You, for which he was praised for expressing opaque concepts with a unique clarity. So he is what the science community would call an educated person, scientifically. And I also did another search on him to find a little bit more about what he did or what he does. So again, bear with me, please. Right, here we go. I'm just gonna read it out to you since it seems like this is out of focus for a bit. Anyway, let's see. Marcus Chown is an award-winning writer and broadcaster, formerly a radio astronomer at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena. He is cosmology consultant of the New Scientist. His books include What a Wonderful World, Quantum Theory Cannot Hurt You, Felicity of Frobisher and the Three-Headed Aldebaran Dust Devil, and We Need to Talk to Kelvin, which was shortlisted for the 2010 Royal Society Book Prize. Marcus has also tried his hand at apps and won the Booksellers Digital Innovation of the Year for the Solar System for iPad. So you can see for yourself that this guy is not stupid. He knows what he's talking about when he says these things about gravity. Okay, so his credentials are what you might call scientific. He is educated. Right, on to the next page. We have here Newton never mentioned an apple falling from a tree until 40 years after his discovery of the law of gravity. So I'm going to read it out to you again, and everyone knows the story of Newton and the falling apple. His key insight was that the apple and the moon both fall under gravity. The moon, because of its sideways velocity, never gets any closer. By comparing their rates of fall, he deduced the inverse square law, that the force between bodies is 4 times as weak when they are twice as far apart, and so on. But the first time Newton told the story of the apple was to his biographer, William Stokely, 4 decades after discovering the law of gravity. Perhaps with his creative days behind him, he was concocting his own legend. Certainly, the story depicts Newton as the lone genius struck by a flash of inspiration. As you might have heard, there's a knock on the door. I'll just pause this for a minute. Okay, I'm back, and yes. Yeah, and the next one is, hope you can read, or you can see there. Make an adjustment to the camera. Right. Gravity keeps your feet on the ground, yet no such force actually exists. Although Newton imagined the force of gravity between the sun and Earth as like a piece of invisible elastic connecting the bodies, Einstein discovered the truth is different. Really? A mass like the sun warps space-time around it, creating a valley. We can't see the valley because space-time is a 4-dimensional thing and we are 3-dimensional beings. But Earth circles around the valley like a ball around a roulette wheel. It experiences no force but travels along the shortest path through warped space-time. Similarly, there is a tendency for you to fall to the bottom of the valley of space-time around Earth. The surface obstructs, however. In pushing back, it creates the field of gravity. Jesus. Where is this valley? Okay, never mind. Anyway, so let's see this picture of an apple tree, and it says there at the bottom, the falling apple story is probably the result of some creative license on Newton's part. I wouldn't argue with that. Yeah. Okay, so what's on the next page? Yeah, let's go to the next page. Here. Gravity on the International Space Station is actually 90% of gravity on the Earth. Orbiting at an altitude of only 400 kilometers above Earth, the International Space Station is so close to our planet that gravity barely differs from what is experienced on the ground. So gravity in space and on Earth is almost the same. So this is confusing. Astronauts are weightless for the same reason as someone unfortunate enough to be in a lift after its cable has snapped. Because as fast as they fall towards the lift floor falls away from them. It is not obvious that the ISS is falling. That is because it has sideways motion. This means that as fast as gravity curves its path down towards the Earth, the Earth's surface curves away from it. ISS therefore falls forever in a circle, never reaching the what? I don't know where this is ending, this sentence. I can't find anywhere where it's ending. Anyway, never mind. Now it says here in this picture, I hope you can see this print here. The moon doesn't just cause tides, it causes the Earth itself to budge. Something that was seen but not understood in the unusual behavior of a well. And on this side, when the tide at sea rises, the water in wells falls, and vice versa, something known since around 100 BC and explained only in 1940. I hope someone does this experiment to see if the water in wells is affected by the moon's gravity. So I'm going to read the Greek philosopher Poseidonius, who lived between 135 and 51 BC, discovered this effect. He noticed that when a spring at the temple of Heracleion in modern-day Cadiz in Spain was low, the tide in the nearby Atlantic was high, and vice versa. The explanation is that gravity of the moon, the principal cause of tides, not only makes the ocean bulge upwards, but it does so to the rocks as well. The waterlogged rock in which a whale sits is like a wet sponge. It sucks water out of the whale, and the sponge is stretched upwards, high tide, and squeezes water back into the whale when the sponge is released, low tide. Please, if there is anyone out there, do this experiment. Okay, and down here we've got this picture. Yeah, it's all CGI, isn't it? Right, it says everyone thinks gravity sucks, but in most of the universe it blows. And children at school are still taught that gravity is a force of attraction. So it's not. However, in 1998, astronomers discovered to their immense surprise that the expansion of the universe is speeding up. What is speeding up the expanse of the universe? Where is all the energy coming from for it to speed up? And they have attributed this to the repulsive gravity of mysterious dark energy. Invisible stuff filling all of space. Come on now, dark energy? Is there any proof of dark energy? Oh, it's invisible. It fills all of space. It's invisible. You can't see it. Dark energy accounts for more than 2/3 of the mass energy of the universe. Nobody knows what it is. Of course nobody knows what it is. They've never seen it. Never been proven. In fact, our very best theory, quantum theory, predicts an energy for the vacuum of space, dark energy, that is 1 followed by 120 zeros bigger than what is observed. This is the biggest discrepancy between a prediction and an observation in the history of science. Something is wrong. Yes, I agree with you, Marcus. Something is wrong when you start telling us that a dark energy is invisible. Alright, what's next? Oh yeah, there's a little note there. Say dark energy, the purple grid, imagined as an immovable force that causes other objects to manipulate gravity, the green grid. Yes, Marcus. Oh, there's something else here. It says, if gravity had not switched on after the Big Bang, time might not flow forward. The direction of time is associated with order changing to disorder, the direction in which castles crumble, eggs break, and so on. Ultimately, therefore, the arrow of time must be due to the Big Bang being in a highly ordered state, which is very unlikely. Actually, early on, when matter from the Big Bang fireball was smeared smoothly across space, the universe was disordered. However, when the universe was 380,000 years old, gravity was able to gather matter together for the first time. In a gravitating system, clumped is the most likely state. The smeared out universe was therefore suddenly thrown into a very unlikely state, precisely the requirement to create our forward direction of time. Oh wow! Right. There you go. You have it, folks. The mysterious force of gravity. The force that doesn't exist. A riddle warped in a mystery inside an enigma. I first described as bonkers, is taught in schools as fact. Thanks for watching.